Hey, hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Okay, so today we are taking a look at SynthMaster. Now, SynthMaster 2 and also SynthMaster Player have been updated now with full NKS support. And that means that, hang on a second, I need to refresh this. That means that all of our SynthMaster synths now have full NKS support, which is epic. Now, the first thing to do is you'll need to update your SynthMaster synths, obviously. And of course, that's really easy to do. You just go to your SynthMaster plugin, open it, and it will tell you if there's a download available. Or you can go to the SynthMaster website, access your account, and download the update from there. When the update starts to load, it will ask you if you want to install the NKS content. And that's what you want to be doing. You want to be installing the NKS content. If anyone's watching, can they just let me know that they can hear me okay? Because I'm getting some strange issues with my screen buffering. So if that's okay, if someone can say, that would be cool. Anyway, so here's the thing. Once you've installed it, right, I'm going to go back to my... Can someone let me know? Right, good audio. Ah, thanks, right, and you can see it. Okay, so we can show you still... Right, okay, so it's all right. I'm getting some, like, issues here with the fact that it's not actually... My thing isn't actually playing. So as long as you can hear me and see it, that's great. I'm not really bothered about anything else, so I can't like pay too much attention to the chat because I'll be doing this. But anyway, so someone will need to tell me if it stops working. Right, first thing to do, once you've done the update and it's all installed, etc., and you've done everything you need to do, including the NKS content installation as well, which is part of the install for the update, so you don't need to worry about that. What we want to be doing is going to browser here, where we're at, and we want to go to instruments. So you'll probably be on groups or something like this. We want to go to instruments, and I'm going to just go with synthesizers. Usually it'll be defaulted to all, but we'll just stick with synthesizers like this. And then products here, so it says all products, and we'll just scroll around until we get to the S's, where we shall find our SynthMaster 2. So there's SynthMaster 2, there's SynthMaster 1, there's SynthMaster Player. The cool thing is, of course, with it having NKS, is before you even load a preset, you can get a demo of it. Just by scrolling through it like that, and then if you wanted that, you could load it. We're going to stick with SynthMaster 2 because that's the newest one. So, and you'll also see that here we can choose whether we have all types, which is everything, and then we can choose to have it with different characters. So we could choose basses, synths, lead, keys, etc., stuff like that. So there's about 2,000 presets that have been added to the content for NKS. So that's great. So you can just do this. So I'm going to choose piano and keys to start. I'll go back to there. And then we've got subtypes here. So maybe we could go with electric piano. And then we've got characters. So we'll go with analog. And then... And once you find the sound that you want, all you need to do is just load it. And it'll load it in there like this. And I'm going to just... while this is doing this, I'm going to close this screen that I'm actually looking at now and go back to my contact screen. And once you've loaded it, you'll have it in there like that. Now it might be a little bit too loud, so all we need to do is go to mixer and we can just turn it down a little bit. Now just bear with me for 2 secs while I'm going to set up another screen so I can see what's going on. Otherwise I'm going to get really really confused, and I really don't want to be confused, so but this will only take a sec, guys, and then we shall carry on and make sure everything's down. Okay, so yeah, so once you've done that, once you've got a level you're happy with, you can go to your plugin here, and there's SynthMaster. Now we don't need to go to plugin browser to choose presets. All we need to do is, hang on a sec, guys, I need to just sort this out because it's beginning to do my head in. Hang on, it's gonna do this, do this. Okay, so we don't keep needing to go back to plugin browser to load sounds. To load a sound from this view, from the plugin view on the on your keyboard, I'm using the S41. This works in Machine Mark III as well, of course, exactly the same. All we need to do is hit this little button above search, and we'll get all our presets back in. But the button to use to select them now is the 4D encoder. So if we wanted to change to that one, what we do is we press the 4D encoder, and that will load that sound in. Which is a sound I'm going to use because it's really nice. Then I'm going to go to my mixer, just knock the volume down a little bit. Go back to our plugin. Now we don't even need to touch the software to make music and make our songs and build our tracks and beats and stuff like that. We don't need to actually leave the hardware, and this is what makes the NKS stuff really great. If you're using NKS instruments and things like that, you don't actually need to leave your iPad. Leave your hardware. You can do everything this without really touching the software at all. So I'm going to create a little pattern. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to pattern, and I'm going to hit this little plus button, and I'm going to select a length from my pattern, and I'm going to choose just 4 bars just because it's easy. Then I'm going to hold shift and record. Now first of all, I'm going to set my tempo, so I'm going to press tempo, and you'll see if I let go it'll go off. So you hold tempo, and then you can adjust the tempo to suit here. So we're going to set this to 100 BPM. This. Okay. And we've got 4 bars, 100 BPM. And all I need to do to set this going is to hold shift and record. And that will give me a 4-bar count in. So. Quantize this by about 50%. And again, if it's too loud, we can always just go to our mixer. And if you don't want the metronome running, you can always switch it off. Let's go back to our plugin. So we've got a little 4-bar loop going, and what we're going to do now is create a new group. I'm just going to do that as well. Okay, so we're going to create a new group for another instrument. So we're going to hold pattern, and above pattern you'll see it says pattern 1. We can create another pattern there, but what we want to do is go to track. So hold track here, and you'll see it says group A1. We're going to hit another group here, and this will be group B. And now we can add a new instrument to that group. So we'll go to our browser, and we'll already be on SynthMaster 1 because Contact remembers where you last were. So what we'll do this time is we'll go, okay, well, I'm going to go with some bass sound and maybe subtype bin, maybe a fretless type bass sound. And then we can go with, well, let's go with, let's leave it on all, see what's going on. You've got loads and loads of them, it'll tell you. I think I'm going to go with maybe synth type bass sound, of which there are 500 results. Loads of arcs. There you go. So I like that one, so all I'm going to do is just load that one sound in there like this. Go to my mixer, of course, and just adjust the volume a bit. And again, I'm going to make sure that I create a pattern, so I'm going to go to pattern and make sure it's 4 bars long so it matches my previous pattern. And if anytime I will need to, we can go to the plugin now, and there it is. Anytime I need to jump back and have a look at the previous pattern, again, all I need to do is either go to track and go back to the previous group, which is our first SynthMaster, or stick with this one. So I know I've got a 4-bar pattern for this, so I'm just going to have a little play. Now, before I record anything in, I'm going to go to plugin, and you'll see now, here it says 1 of 12. There are 12 pages of control. Now, some of them will be different. Some will have 22 pages of different controls. To scroll through the different pages here, you just press this, and then you've got master volume here for the synth. You've got tuning, volume for layer 1, volume for layer 2. You've got your effects on, effects off. All this different stuff that you've got control over now from inside of your controller for controlling and changing the sound on the actual synth. Now, let's just play this and see what happens. So if you play from here, it will just start playing from where your playhead is. If you press shift and play, it will reset the loop and start from the beginning, which is, to me, more logical. So we'll just record that. So again, easiest way to do this is just hold shift and press record, and then you can start to record your little sequence in. So shift and record gives you a 4-bar counting. There you go, and we can again stop record, hold quantize and quantize by 50%. Now at the moment we're still working with just one scene. If we go to scenes, we've just got one scene, and that scene has got 2 groups and 2 patterns in it. But we'll record something else first. So again, what we want to be doing is creating a new group. So we'll go to pattern here, hold track, press plus, that will give us group C, and now we can just add another instrument in there. So we'll go to our browser and you'll see that our instrument is still there. Let's go with some maybe bowed strings this time. So maybe let's Let's go with some maybe acoustic style, and well, there's only the one. That's not a string, that's brass. I want both strings. So, and I don't want arpeggiated, so let's see. Ensemble maybe, and subtypes, kind of airy might be nice. Okay, then that might do it. So let's load that one in. Let me just see. Let's take that up an octave. Go to our mixer. Now let's go to our, if we want to change that sound, if we hit this, we can sorry, this button in it, so and then so we've changed the sound to that now. So maybe if we just have a little play along with it, see what it sounds like. So again, I'm going to create a new pattern this time. Now you don't need to keep creating patterns. If you want to record freely, you can. I'm just going to record over 4 bars again. If it will record up to 256 bars, which is huge. So you can do it that way if you like. But if you want to remain structured and controlled, and it's just easier because it will just stop recording after those 4 bars, and you're then good to go, sort of thing. So let's just quickly re-loop and play. So shift and play. That in, and we know we've got our 4 bars, so we're just good to go. So shift and record. And I'm going to quantize 50%. Now, what we could start to do now is maybe arrange. Let's put a lead line in. And I'll show you how you can arrange your scenes and stuff. We're even actually so far we haven't had to go anywhere near the software. In fact, we don't really need to go near the software if I was gonna start to rename stuff and things like that. I'll just check the chat. Well, no, this is so hi to hello Ed Joe. No, this is only for Contact Native Instruments NKS, Native Control System. Yeah, so I mean, SynthMaster 1, 2, and Player obviously work exactly the same on iOS, but for this it's only for Contact. So yeah, right, okay. So we're going to pick a lead sound. So we'll go and find, let's see, browser. I'm going to create another group, by the way. So again, I will hold track, create another group. So now we've got 4 SynthMasters going, and we'll go to our plugin browser again, and we'll go with some maybe synth lead. Okay, or maybe we could look at something like flute type sounds, subtypes, concertish, I suppose. Don't know what's going on. So if there any there, there's this one. I want. See if there's anything different in there. Quite like that sound, so I'm gonna load that one in. Go to our mixer. That's a nice sound. Okay, so let's see. It is. Okay. Let's see. So let's go to our pattern. Let's create a pattern there. Let's set this for our 4 bars, just to keep it consistent. Let's hit shift and let's have a little practice first. Okay, so same rule as before. Again, shift and record. Right, so next thing to do is we'll make a little arrangement from that, and then I'll do it again. I'll open another I'll set up a new one, and I'll go through the whole thing again, I'll go through some of the sounds and stuff, just so you're clear on how you can do it. So again, not having to touch the software whatsoever. This time I'm going to go to scene, and you see I have scene 1, and in that scene there are 4 patterns. Well, I'm going to make another 4 scenes. Okay, now you can make as many scenes as you like, or as few as you like. It doesn't really matter. We can make more patterns as well, which I might do in the other one. I'll show you to make. You can make more patterns in the same group sort of thing. So you could have like X amount of patterns in scene 1, or X amount of patterns in group 2, or group 3, or group 3, etc., etc. So this time I'm going to switch off in scene 2 here. I'm going to switch off, in group 2, I'm going to switch off all these other patterns. So you'll see that only scene 1 has a highlighted pattern like this. If I go to scene 2 now, I'm going to switch on pattern 1 and pattern 2. I'm going to go to scene 3, switch on pattern 1, and pattern 1. And in scene 4, I'm just going to switch all the patterns on like that. So we have it building up over time over our scenes. And if we play that now, so shift and play to restart the loop, we'll just have our electric piano. We'll go to scene 2, which will be a bass in there as well. Okay, so that's how you build up your scenes and patterns again without touching the software. Okay, so if we go back to this, to group 1 now, and we go to pattern, you'll see that we have pattern 1, but we have a little plus beside it, which means we can now create another pattern for that group. So if we wanted to make something completely new for that, we could just do that by adding this, and that adds us a new pattern in. Again, we can choose the length of that pattern. It's independent, so we could choose 4. But if we do this, let's do this from another kind of project. Let's do another quick setup, if you like. So I'm just going to go to my software this time, and I'm just going to go. I don't need to save that, so I'm going to go new. I'm going to discard it, don't want it. And now we are in a completely blank and fresh sort of thing. And if we go back to our groups now, let's start by adding some drums from Contact, just to give us a different style of track. So I'm going to use, see it says all products and mirroring group. I'm going to go and find machine, because everyone will have machine library, and I'm just going to choose this Abbey Road Studio Kit, and I'm going to load it, and it's loaded in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit key mode here, and this will give us all the so we can just put down a little we'll just put down a little beat. So what I'm going to do is make sure my metronome is switched on. It is. I'm going to go to pattern for the drums. So this is pattern 1, group 1. Group 1 is the drums. So I'm going to hit this little plus pattern here. Again, as always, I like to set them to start with 4, or we can go with 8 or whatever you want, but I'm going to stick with 4. Only, it's for tutorial purposes only, that's it. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a count in. So timing was terrible, so I'm going to hit quantize 100%. It was still terrible, so what I'm going to do is did I just miss that first one, did I? I think I need to clear that out and start again. So I think what threw me is my tempo was I expected my tempo to be a bit slower than that, so I'm going to go with 110. Okay, and I'm just going to start with just putting some kick in. Quantize 100%. Now switch record off and find another instrument. Now that's a bit quiet for my liking, that hi-hat, so I'm going to go into mixer. I'll use that one. I'm going to put that in. So again, I'm going to go to my track so I can, my pattern, sorry. And give myself a count in. Quantize it. Okay, so now this is what I was saying about patterns. That could be pattern 1. So if we go to pattern, well, we're already on pattern. If we add another pattern now, there's ways to do this, right? So I want to add, so I need to, there is a way to do this, and I can't remember how to do it, but there's a way to actually copy the pattern over, and that's Studio 1, that's fine, that's our pattern. Shift, while I'm on pattern, here we go. So shift and duplicate. Okay, so now if we can double up the pattern to make it twice as long, but holding shift, and we're going to duplicate that pattern, and that gives us another pattern which is exactly the same as pattern 1, but now we can edit this pattern by adding some snaring, and go to mixer and maybe just knock that snare up a little bit. So go back to pattern. So now we can put in some snare on pattern 2. Quantize it. And if we go back to pattern 1 now, the snare will be gone. Okay, so that's fine. So let's start adding some synths in now. So that's how you build up patterns and stuff, but using the keyboard controller is different, slightly different than on machine. You don't get quite as much control with the keyboard, but you still don't need to go right near the software while you're actually creating tracks, which gives you a very fast workflow. So what we need to do is create a new group. So if we go to track now, you'll know there are drums, and you'll know that we have 2 patterns in there because we just recorded 2 patterns. Let's go to track now, add another group, and now we can go to browser again. And what we'll do is the same thing. We'll go here where it says we'll go to instruments. Go back, instruments. We can just keep our search on synthesizers, and we'll go with all products, scroll down until we find SynthMaster 2, and there it is. And now we can choose a sound, and all sounds, and there are lots of them. Well, I like that one. So I'm going to load this one. So once that's loaded, it'll come on. So that's a really nice sound actually. So we're going to go to pattern. We're going to make a pattern for that, and I'm going to make that pattern, you guessed it, 4 bars long. And we're just going to record some super basic stuff in. Our metronome is on it. This time we're going to have our drums backing us up, so we probably don't need the metronome on because the metronomes can get a little bit annoying. Okay, so let's see. Let's go shift and record. And just quantize. And that'll be spot on. Now, in Mixer View, you've got several options, okay? If you're on a group mixer, like for instance, if we were to go to our track view and go back to our drums, our mixer will change to the drums, and if there's more than, you know, one page of it. If you've got all 16 filled up, you can do that. So if we press play now, you'll see the drums, of course. So kick and hi-hat. If we select our track now and go to our group B, we'll see the entire mixer for that, but I've only got one sound in there. So if you want to mix between the groups themselves, the actual overall mix between, say, all the drums and all the synths, or all the synths in this particular group, all you need to do is push your 4D encoder up and you'll get into the group mix. So this shows you everything that's going on in different groups. We only have 2 groups, so if we just press shift and play, we can turn all the drums down, or everything that would be in group B. So we want to add another group, so let's go to track here, let's add group C, and in group C we can start to put in a sound. So let's try and find another one. That's a nice sound. So again, mixer. And we're on group mixer, don't forget now. If I wanted to see the mix for their entire group, although there's only one sound in it, we just go down. So let's slap some bass in there. Again, get used to doing the formula of creating patterns and things like this, because it'll make your life easier if you actually learn how to do it properly. And then I'll show you how you can add some extra effects and stuff in that aren't on SynthMaster, but maybe we'll choose a different sound for that. So let's go to pattern. Let's create a new pattern for that group. Let's make that just again 4 bars long for convenience sake. And let's have a quick play along with it, shall we? So shift and something like that. So we'll just go shift and record some bass in. Quantize it. Cool. That actually sounds quite good. And again, remembering at the moment we only have our one scene. Scenes and patterns are pretty important. You know, this is how you create your songs. So again, we go one more. We'll go one more track. We'll add in, and you can add as many tracks as you want. By the way, you can just I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a lot. We're going to choose another sound now. So we're going to go to plugin and of course, browser. And we're going to choose something that's got less on it. Let's try and narrow our search, shall we? So maybe we'll go with let's go with an organ type sound, and let's see, what can we do? Subtypes, we'll go with synth type organ sound and maybe analog. See what we've got here. So that sounds pretty that organ sound, because it's quite dry, so we'll just load that in, shall we? And so I'm gonna go, it's very dry, so that's good. I wanted a dry sound, so I want to show you how to add effects. Again, we're gonna go to mixer because that's way too loud. Sounding all a bit too jolly, but yeah, this is, for the purposes of this is ideal. So again, we're going to hit shift and play so I can just have a bit of a mess around with it. Okay, pattern, create a new pattern, set that length to 4 bars, only for consistency's sake. You can set every single group to different, and patterns to different lengths if you want to. It's entirely up to you. So again, I'm just going to record this quickly in, and in my settings on machine, I have quantize turned off because I like to quantize afterwards. Sometimes it's nice to have it not quantized as well, so you doing it first from switched off is always a good idea, personally. So again, I'm going to quantize this now. Messed it up, so, and my quantize is not going to quantize that botch, so better. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into plugin for this particular. Make sure you're on the group that you want. Okay, so this is the group with the organ, and we're going to add some external effects, and we'll add some native instrument effects, but you can add effects from anywhere you like. To do this, like I said, make sure you're on the group you want. So if you're on track mode, you select your groups like this by holding track down and selecting a group. So if we wanted to add some more like effects to the drums, well, let's do that, shall we? Let's add some effects to the drums. Let's play. Let's go shift and play. And let's go back to pattern. Actually, what we'll do before we add any effects and stuff is I'm going to create some scenes. All right, so go to scene. Now I could just, like, to listen to the drums, I just could start turning stuff off, for example, switch off, all the patterns in groups B, C and D and just have this play. So before I create scenes, I can still make adjustments. So let's do that. Let's make some adjustments to the drums because the drums sound a bit cardboardy. Let's go to plugin. Make sure we're on the group that we want to be looking at, which is track, and go to this. Now we're on the drum group. Move our encoder along now and press it, and this will give us access to our effects we can add. So, and like I said, you can go with Native Instruments, Arturia, whatever's on there. I've got like tons of stuff in here, so I'll stick with the Native Instruments. Actually, I'll stick with the internal stuff, and I'll add a maximize. Oh, I'll add an EQ first. So add, and then I can that's weird. Don't know why I'm not managing to add any EQ to me drums. Let me just remove that a minute and add something else. I'll add a maximizer. That's odd. I'm not getting any effect. Strange. That's never happened before. Let's try again with a metaverb. No, you see, that's madness. Madness doesn't matter. We don't need to add. Let's see if we can add some stuff to something else, shall we? Is my mixer even working? Hang on. The mixer's working. That's fine. That's strange. Anyway, let's go to our scenes now, and I'm going to go to my this organ sound and see if I can add something to that. That's very strange. Let's go to plugin. See, it worked on the SynthMaster channel, but didn't work on the drum channel. That's very, very, very odd. Anyway, the point being is that you can add your EQs and stuff and all your effects to your individual groups after the fact as well. So on SynthMaster, we can start adding any other effect from any other plugin that we like, you know. So we've just added that metaverb in there. If we play it again. And then we can maybe add some chorus to it, or phaser or flanger. Some phaser or chorus. See if our drums will work now. Now that to me sounds like, let's go to plugin. And maybe go to our pattern, our track. And then plugin. that sounds like that just hasn't worked. I'm going to remove the meta verb. That's madness, that is. Remove. Try adding something else. I wonder, it's got to be something I'm doing wrong, this has. Wait a minute. I know what it is. Right. Bear with me a sec, guys. Let me explain what I did. Okay. Watch this. If we go back to key mode now, this is good because you might run into the same problem and you wonder why you're not adding. We're on sound mode, which means you can add an effect to every single different drum hit. Now, if I go into key mode, here are our drums, right? And if I'll bet you any money that if I hit kick, that chorus will disappear. Oh. Wait. It's obviously picking up on the snare. Right. So if I get rid of that chorus now, remove, we need to, how do I select the sound? Right, this is good for me. So go to key mode. I'm going to go to pattern. My things aren't changing, and there's a way to do this which is different on the keyboard than it is on the Water. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to consult the manual for that. Anyway, the fact is that you did here, you can add your effects and stuff to individual tracks, but I'm just wondering why I'm not it's my sampler engine isn't changing for these drums. However, I could add it to the overall group if I wanted to. So I could go in here, and this is the Abbey Road kit. I could go, right, okay, well, let's add a, just for the sake to show you it actually does work. If we add a meta verb to the entire group, and I'll go load, now play the drums. So, oh, I know what, I wonder. It's all right, guys, I'm letting myself here now, so good. Let me just take that meta verb off. So I'm going to hold shift and remove. I'm going to go back to track. I'm on Abbey Road, so that's good. I'm going to go to sound. That's so weird. Normally what happens if it's on machine, every single pad you hit, but this is weird. This is not changing my sampler instrument. Strange but true. Doesn't matter. I'm nearly done now anyway, but I'm going to go to scene. I'm going to create a couple more scenes, so 4 scenes, and again I'm going to do the same thing. In fact, actually I'll start with, in scene 1, I'll switch that off. I'll have pattern 1 drums play with this organ sound. So scene 1's going to be this. And then scene 2, that's scene 1. Have I set that up for scene 4? Yeah. So scene 1 is that, scene 2 is that and this, scene 3 is pattern 2 with the thing, this and this, scene 4 is everything including pattern 2. So there you go, and then on and on and on we could go. We could add another group, go to our plugin browser, make sure we're on, browser, and carry on listening to the amazing sounds of SynthMaster. Take off all the actual filters. Tons of stuff. That's a cool sound, isn't it? Listen to that. Guys, thanks for joining me this afternoon where we took a look at SynthMaster 2. Go to plugin SynthMaster 2 now has, and SynthMaster Player I should say, but SynthMaster 2 and SynthMaster Player and SynthMaster 1 all have full NKS support, which is just epic stuff. And don't forget, even when you're in plugin mode here, you could just press this and scroll through. But you have to use this one. Load your sound by pressing this, sorry. You get all these sounds in the iOS version as well, David. All the same sounds and stuff. Anyway, guys, listen. I'm going to scroll through a few more sounds for you to listen to, just so you can get how vast SynthMaster is. And I will see you all later in tonight's live stream. I'm doing a VST contact instrument called the USA, which is a beautiful piano. It's 150 years old. This piano, it's sampled in all sorts of different ways, and it really is an absolutely lovely thing. Anyway, so that's what we'll be taking a look at later in tonight's live stream. So a couple of desktop-y things today, and yeah, awesome stuff. Cables everywhere I have. Hang on. Right. Okay, guys, bless you all. I'm going to just scroll through a few more of these sounds and you can have a listen to them. See you guys later. Ta-da.